As you can see from the title, and if you've been watching this channel for a while now, this is my very first motorcycle, and after about a year and over 5,000 kilometers, I think it's about time to do a review on it. So let's see. How's it going, everyone? Today we ran into the mountains where it's nice and chilly compared to the city, and that also gives me the perfect opportunity to talk about the bike. This is the Kawasaki Z400 2023 edition, and pretty much I want to just present it to you briefly. I'm in no shape or form an expert in bikes. In fact, I'm pretty much a beginner, and I think I will consider myself a beginner for a long time going forward as well. I think it's healthier that way. So bear with me, and yeah, it's gonna be quite a journey for the both of us. So if you want to subscribe. It's a naked style motorcycle, and what that means is it doesn't have too many plastic covers, fairings. It's pretty much naked, and that makes it easier to change the oil filter, for example, and stuff like that. But why I mention this is especially because Kawasaki also has the sport version of this, the Ninja 400, which is pretty much the same bike except it's got fairings. So the choice is yours. And even though this is the less sporty one, it's got a very aggressive styling, which Kawasaki calls it Sugomi. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I actually really like it.
Sugomi.
The headlights are LED, which is great because it provides a natural, pretty cool white light. The turn signals, however, are not, so that might be one of the first mods you want to do, probably. So this is a 399cc parallel twin engine, and it generates up to 45 horsepower, which is more than enough for most people, beginners or not. In the front we have a single but pretty big brake disc, 310 millimeters, and the braking system is a Nissin one, pretty basic, nothing fancy, and a 220 millimeters in the back. If that didn't mean anything to you, just know that you probably don't need anything more than that, and the stopping power is more than adequate. The foot peg's position is pretty nice and natural when on the bike. However, I do have an issue, but it might be just my own issue, I don't know. When I have my legs down, my feet on the ground, they are right where my legs are, so I either have to put them more spread out, more apart, or try to put them in front of the foot pegs. But yeah, they kind of bother me when when I have my feet down. Since we are complaining about stuff, keep in mind that it's very likely that your boot's heel will touch the exhaust when you have your foot on the foot peg, but yeah, you can get used to it. And I forgot to talk about probably one of the most important things when discussing a motorcycle, the seat height. The Z400 is very friendly with short riders like myself. It's got a seat height of only 785 millimeters, so I am 170 centimeters tall, and I can comfortably flat-foot it on both sides. There is a passenger seat too, of course, but it's pretty narrow, so don't expect it to be very comfortable on long rides, unless you install some accessories or do some mods. Another thing you might notice is I got some crash bars installed on it. These are the SW Motec ones made for the Z400 specifically, and I honestly think it's the best option you'll find out there if you want to protect your bike. They don't stand out at all and look great to me, and really good thing I did, because I did drop the bike once in the parking lot and they did their job perfectly. But enough blabbing around. Let's ride it. Oh, first, let's hear it roar. Not bad. Alright, much better now. So first things first, how does the bike feel and what is its main appeal? It's a pretty small and light motorcycle at 168 kilograms, which means it's also very maneuverable and easy to handle, both when riding and in the parking lot. So it feels great and you really feel like you're the one controlling the bike, which may not be the case on bigger and heavier bikes. One thing that is important for me is the pretty vertical position you have on this bike. It makes it more comfortable than a sports bike for sure, and more confidence inspiring somehow. Another appeal to this motorcycle is its price. At $5,400 at MSRP, that is a great price if you take a look at the new motorcycles market. But wait, small and cheap bike? That must mean it's slow and boring too, right? Well, actually no. This bike feels great and has got much more power than you will be able to use in day-to-day life, especially in the city, but not only. The engine is very fun and eager to play, and from what I hear, arguably feels better than the Z650 one, which is more powerful, yes, but somehow feels more sedate than the playful nature of the twin-cylinder 399cc on the Z400. On the same note, some people will wonder, can it keep up with the traffic? Is it too small of an engine for highways? And the answer is definitely not. You have enough instant power to get out of sticky situations and feel safe about it, and also has a top speed of 180 kilometers per hour, which is more than you can legally ride anywhere except the German Autobahn. That being said, even though you can do highways, it doesn't mean you're gonna have the best of times doing it, as it does get tingly, buzzy and vibrating in the foot pegs and handlebars at above 120 kilometers. But yeah, I mean, it's not a big, heavy and comfortable tourer motorcycle, obviously, and just a few minutes ago we gave that as a positive because it's easy to handle, so we can't have it both ways, right? But what I will say is it's perfectly fine for short bursts of highway, and motorcyclists tend to avoid highways anyway because it's not particularly fun to ride in a straight line forever. So I will not hold it against it. But it's definitely capable of longer trips as well. If you keep it at around 100 kilometers per hour, I reckon you can get pretty far with frequent breaks and some stretching involved. The dashboard is pretty basic and simple, but you've got everything important you might want. Acceleration and speed, obviously, but also gear indicator, fuel indicator and range. And it constantly is calculating the range based on your riding. Fuel consumption, current trip and time are other items you can check. And speaking of, it's got a 14 liters tank, and if we're being generous, let's say 4 liters per 100 kilometer consumption, which means a range of about 350 kilometers, which is not bad. I can think of other bikes with smaller tanks and worse range in this naked category. The controls on this are dead simple. We have clutch, turn signals, horn, low beam, long beam, and on the other hand, throttle handle, kill switch, and ignition. Very simple, very basic, nothing fancy. Regarding the clutch, this feels incredibly easy to grab and pull. Might be a bit too easy even, because it's harder to tell when you are in the friction zone. But despite its entry-level price, the Z400 comes equipped with assist and slipper clutch as well, which helps you have a smoother shifting of gears and downshifting, and prevents you from locking up that rear tire. And also the bike comes standard with ABS, both front and rear. And that's an amazing thing to have, especially for a beginner, but really for anyone, and it will save you from locking up that wheel and probably crashing if you brake too hard or sudden. So it's really hard to put a price on these technologies. They are invaluable in my eyes. It's really cool Kawasaki is putting them on the entry-level bikes as well. Also, the green team has something that they call positive neutral finder, and what that is when you are stationary and you want to switch from neutral to the first gear, it won't actually switch to the second gear no matter what you do, and vice versa from the first to neutral. So that's very nice, because on other bikes it's pretty finicky and hard to find the neutral sometimes. The mirrors are not great, not terrible really. That being said, I don't think there are too many amazing mirrors on motorcycles though, but they are fine, big enough. Just know you'll probably see a good chunk of your elbows in them, and that is why I installed some mirror extenders from SW Motec. And another part of being a naked bike is it comes with a very minimal, pretty much non-existent windshield, so you will feel all that wind unless you change the windshield, which is exactly what I did. I've got one from Puig and it actually goes on top of the original one, and I don't think it ruins the look either, so that's pretty cool. The engine and its sound, or rather a lack of it, well, as I was saying, this engine is terrific and very responsive. Now the sound of it is subjective. First of all, it's a quiet bike, so it's kind of the opposite of those obnoxiously loud exhausts you hear on some bikes, but I like the sound of it, and it can get a bit high-pitched at high revs, but really doesn't sound bad. And if you must, there are those Akrapovic exhausts for Z400 sold directly by Kawasaki on their website, so there's that, or dozens of other aftermarket exhausts out there. One more thing I'll mention is on long trips my bony ass was getting pounded and starts hurting relatively fast, so I got a seat gel pillow, which I think helped for a little bit. Then I got the seats redone and put a bit more padding in there, so it's a bit better now. But yeah, the stock seat is not the comfiest thing you'll ever sit on, and also it kinda pushes you into the tank and it can get uncomfortable at times. Whew, this was fun. So if you are left with anything after watching this video, I think it should be that the Z400 is not just a beginner motorcycle, and I don't really like to call it a beginner motorcycle, even though yes, it's a great beginner motorcycle, but it's not just that. It's a great all-around motorcycle for anyone, especially for someone who lives in the city mostly and doesn't want or need to do a lot of highway distances or touring, because it's not made for that, obviously. And also, we didn't talk about why I got a motorcycle. So I actually liked motorcycles, I think, since I was very little, very young, but I was scared of them, and rightly so, because they are dangerous, obviously. But in more recent years, I started watching all sorts of motovloggers, and not really motovloggers as much as motorcyclists who travel a lot and cover a lot of distance and show us the world, basically. Like Ichi Boots, if you know her, she's traveling around the world and is taking us with her along for the ride, and that to me is just amazing, and it's just so cool, so cool. So in the near future, maybe, and definitely future, what I want to do is do some longer distance traveling and take you along for the ride as well. Maybe do some photography trips, that would be cool. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that, you should be subscribing to this channel to come along with me. Till next time, thanks a lot for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. So see ya.